welcome all. In my previous video I mentioned about introduction to arrays. Now this video is about how arrays are used in a program. Now let's look into it in detail. Write a C++ program to display a set of numbers. Now this is the program that uses the concept of array. Now first is the header file #include iostream.h. Next is the global declaration using namespace std, which is mentioning that we are using standard input and output devices from C++ library. It is not necessary to mention it. In some softwares we have to mention that we're using standard input devices and output devices, that is cin and cout. And next is the main function. Since we have used void as the data type, we don't have to return any values, so the printing of the messages or the printing of the output statement on the screen itself will show that the program is running well. Otherwise, if we had used another data type other than void, we have to mention the return statement so that we can indicate to the compiler or in memory that the program is running well. Now since we have to display a set of numbers, obviously we are using an array. Now since it has not mentioned what type of numbers has to be displayed, let's say I'm taking integer numbers here. We can take any numbers of any data type, say floating point or long or short or double. I have taken int here, so I have declared a variable with variable a with 50 spaces as the maximum size. So 50 spaces will be allocated in memory, so that means 50 spaces will be available for us to use in the variable e. Now we have to enter the number to how much numbers we want to display. So I've declared the variable n, and since we're using the looping statements to indicate the to go from each index numbers, we declare the variable I. Now next is we print the message enter the number. Since it's in double quotes, it will print the message just like that, enter the number. And I've entered the number 5 here using cin from my keyboard. Then we enter the elements. Now next to enter the elements, there's a word endl. It indicates when we run the program and the screen pops up after we type enter the elements, this endl part will go to the next line. That is, the endl is an escape sequence, or just like a non-graphic character. Since we can't type it directly the new line, we use endl so as to indicate that we're going to type the next sentence in the next line. Next is the for loop, where we enter the elements using cin a of I. In a of 0 we have typed 20, in a of 1 21, a of 2 22, a of 3 23, and a of 4 24. So there we have typed and entered our 5 elements. Next is the we display the elements as the message display elements, and endl, that means we'll be displaying the elements in the next line, that is our for loop. And this is how an array looks like, and this is how we print a set of values from the array. And this is how our output will look like. I have just mentioned it in a small manner since it's a small program. Next is we print the total marks of each student in class. Same way, we start with the header file, the global declaration of std. Then we use a void main function. Here, since we're entering the total marks of each student, marks, that means it won't stop in an integer. It can be 12.5 or 50.5 or 51.2. So that means here we are going to use a floating point array. So I've declared a floating point. If you want to use integers, no problem, you can use an integer array. But here, since usually total marks can come in decimal points as well, I've used a floating point array here and declared a floating point array float g of 50, the 50 being the maximum size. Since we have to calculate the total marks, I've used a variable s equal to 0, so we can calculate the total marks. Now we enter the number of subjects. That means it's same way as entering the number that we want to display in our previous program. It's the case of entering the number of subjects we want to display. I have entered the number 5 here, so I'm going to enter the marks of 5 subjects. So in the next line it says cout enter the marks endl. print the message and enter the marks, and endl indicates that we have to uh, input the values of the marks in the next line, and this is how it's going to be stored in an array G. I have typed all of the five numbers of five subjects as 50, 50, 50 for each indices. The next loop is to calculate the number of subjects. Now s equal to s plus a of I. Now why s equal to s plus a of I? If I have typed s equal to a of I, what's going to happen is that after each loop it will be equal to 50. That's not what we want. We want the previous sum to be added to the next mark. So we have typed s equal to s plus a of I. Now after the loop gets terminated, we print the total marks, and since the total marks that we get here is 50, 250. uh, this is the output of the program. I entered the number of subjects. Here I've entered the number 4, and I've entered the marks. All of the marks are 50 in each indices, and the total marks calculated is 200. I hope you understood the concept of how arrays are used in a program. That is all for today. Thank you.